Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 639 of Geeks in Space. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda, and joining me on today's news orbit is Chris DeBona.
My name is Chris. I'm made of rocks. I'm sort of the leader around here.
and Robert Roseboom.
Hi, I'm just a dude.
No, you're paper. Paper beats rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Paper does beat rock.
So that was my favorite part in Ragnarok, is that he was defeated by flyers because he was trying to get his flyers up. Paper did defeat rock.
I didn't bridge enough flyers, so no one showed up to the revolution, and so now I'm here.
Yep. Oh, Korg. I mean, we might as well just blow that story right now. The Deadpool Korg react.
That was for the free guy trailer.
Yeah. It's actually super charming.
It's extremely charming,
and definitely worth the laugh, just to see the two of them together. But also, like, they're complaining about Fox and stuff.
I admit, Ryan Reynolds, I can take like this much of him, and then I just find him kind of annoying.
Oh, I got a movie.
I could take Korg all day.
I can take a movie's worth of Ryan Reynolds almost
I'll watch
once a week.
I'm looking forward to it, you know?
I can't imagine that it's actually going to be good.
No.
You know, yeah, it's probably not going to be good.
But what am I going to say? In the last week, I have watched Puppet Master, Phantasm 2, and Scream.
The ball is back.
Oh, and A New Nightmare.
Oh, you watched A New Nightmare. Was that any good? I never saw it.
I actually enjoyed it tremendously.
I have respect for myself.
Also, you have a job.
I do have a job.
You have important works.
Well, let's not go too far. But it's, you know.
I actually enjoyed New Nightmare a lot, just because it leans really hard into the meta element of it.
So it's kind of like a proto-Scream?
That's why I didn't care for it very much.
I could totally see that. I mean, because literally...
It's totally a movie for Nightmare on Elm Street fans.
Yep.
About Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, I kind of like the idea, just, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's
not my jam.
It's the same thing. Scream is like trying to do exactly the same thing, right? The self-aware horror movie. But I mean, like, I enjoyed both of those movies for what they are tremendously, actually. I did not so much care for the Phantasms. They're rough.
There's a reason they're not upper echelon horror.
Yeah.
You know?
And Puppet Master's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen Puppet Master for a long time.
Puppet Master is about, like, satanic toy dolls this guy makes.
Yeah.
There's a whole mythos that goes with it.
Yep.
And almost every new movie introduces a new doll.
I have a question for you.
It's like a Transformers
Puppet
thing.
Masters do for marionettes and puppets what clowns were done by it?
Ooh. So
was clowning a distinguished profession before it?
So here's the problem with Puppet Master. The problem with Puppet Master is some of the shots in Puppet Master are really convincing and really scary, but most of the shots in Puppet Master are stupid.
Yeah, you have to be convinced that a G.I. Joe sized figure with a knife that is not outlandishly big for it is a danger to you, which is a hard thing to swallow.
Yeah. Well, c'est la vie. I'm almost done. I still have Scream 4 and a couple of other rando movies on my, like, these are the horror movies that I know I haven't seen that people like list.
The first Scream was all right.
I love Scream. I thought it was really fun, but it is what it is. It's totally self-aware. It's for fans of the genre, and it's got some really glorious kills.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Matt Shackman of WandaVision fame is getting the next Star Trek movie, and it looks like it's going to be the one with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth that they've been trying to get off the ground for like 5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm only convinced there's about 2 or 3 directors who it actually matters. You know what I mean? If they direct something.
Is this one of them?
No. For the most part, I think it's, a combination of writing, actors, and luck. and directors, of course. But to say that, like it matters that a specific director had something, I think only is true maybe in 3 or 4 cases.
Well, like when a Taika Waititi gets a part, you know what that movie's gonna be like.
Right.
It gives you hope. The one thing that I would say about these movies now, it's most apparent in the Marvel movies that you can kind of see that like the action is directed by one group, and then the character stuff is directed by the director. So I think the difference is that some of the movies, a single director gets to actually have something to do with the action sequences. And in some of the movies, the action sequences feel like they were rendered in a computer before the director showed up. And
I guess what I'm saying is I don't believe that he is responsible for the parts of WandaVision I like.
Oh, see, I think he actually is responsible for the parts of WandaVision I like. He directed the acting, the performances, whether
you guys
or not
might like different parts of WandaVision.
That's true. That's true. Because I really liked the weird character stuff at the beginning. I thought that was fun.
So he's got some good credits, but I don't think this is a recoverable movie.
Yeah, you might be right.
I just think, it's such an effing mess. Like everything that went on between Paramount and Bad Robot and the Roddenberry family over the last 30 years. It's just a mess, and this guy seems like he's a fine director. He's done a lot of work. He's like the guy you call when you're like, I just need a reliable director who can take a script, punch it out, and punch it up, punch it out, and go on to the next thing without
he's a
too much
journeyman.
drama.
You're saying he's a journeyman.
He's the kind of director you want on season 2 through 5 of anything, right? Because he's gonna make the product. He's gonna ship, right? This guy ships.
That's true.
And I appreciate that about guys like this. But this is stillborn. This is just a mess, And honestly, I think Zachary Quinto as Spock was a genius casting choice.
I liked all the casting.
There was a lot of good casting, but the stories and the dialogue.
Well, yeah, it's
just atrocious.
It's the J.J. Abrams
thing.
thing.
All these talented people, and you just create. How do you create crap out of this?
Very easily. I think is what we keep seeing is that you gotta tick all the boxes in your formula. You gotta.
The Fast and Furious Star Trek was just like, what are you doing?
I still haven't seen F9, man.
Yeah. It turns out on a movie, all the parts are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't just get one,
That's right. Chris, tell me about Alphafold.
Alphafold. Well, I'd be pleased to tell you about Alphafold. So Alphafold is protein folding done using generative adaptive networks or whatever. And so we open sourced out of DeepMind.
Probably the same GPT.
I didn't do much. I said, here's some boilerplate for some license.
No, they just took the script writing tool and modified it slightly to generate protein folds instead of blockbuster films.
There you go. What could go wrong?
It's fine.
Yeah, no. So we open sourced it, and that's great. Because we did a paper about Alphafold a while ago.
How does this compare to that game that was going for years where people were folding proteins?
Folding at home?
Yeah.
I don't know the outcome of folding at home. The science was fine, but it's kind of like, it's a lot. So the difference between folding at home and what was it, NASA at home? What they
there was one where there was a game that had like an interactive component where people were actually folding.
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with that one, but like the one where they were identifying items in pictures from the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, I think it was, or something like that. Anyway, that was pretty neat because it actually harnessed people's attention to identify things in an enormous image set, right? And then they had another one that was doing some math proofs and the rest, and that was super fun. Right, you use your idle time for good, right? And then they came out with protein at home, folding at home, and it's if you had a video card, you would get on the folding at home team and try to solve AIDS or whatever. And that's cool, but I don't know what the outcome was though, honestly. Sure. And Alphafold is just a different approach, and I guess they they managed to do some remarkable protein folding work. But I think it was fun that we open sourced it. So
it's too
that's
bad
really
that
cool.
it's too bad that you can't combine the proof of work stuff in blockchain applications with something like this. That would actually be just extraordinary. But
You saw that they did a calculation. They felt that Bitcoin amounted to 1/6 of the global power budget
yeah, it's
for
insane.
all computer data centers.
It's insane.
It's like, wow,
Yep.
it's not insane. It's pathetic, man. It's sad.
I hear you.
I'm like, how much of our rise of our water on the coast is going to be attributable to Bitcoin? So
Yeah, yay. Well, the Valve Steam Deck was announced. Did you pre-order
today? You can't pre-order until 10 a.m. today, but I have a calendar entry.
You know, I will give Valve a bunch of credit too. They were saying that they're not going to take pre-orders from anybody who didn't have a Steam purchase prior to like 30 days. So that you can't just go create 1,000 accounts and go reserve 1,000 Valve Steam Decks. So good on them.
I have to tell you, Valve is like that director. They keep on shipping. Not everything is great, but like their work on all the VR headsets has been really neat. I know they haven't shipped Half-Life 3, and we all want that and all the rest. And they have a spotty history there. You got Alex. It's
kind of the same thing.
But I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
What I just ordered and what in fact might arrive today is
today.
Yeah, depending on my shipping. The Anbernic RG350V. It's a little retro game emulator, like an emulation station kind of thing that'll run everything up to like apparently PlayStation 1 is where it starts getting a little wobbly, but it's a giant Game Boy and I'm so excited.
So here, is this one here?
That's one of the versions, yeah. There's 2 or 3 different versions of it. There's a plastic version, a metal version, and a vertical version. And I ordered the vertical version because I want it. I'm very excited.
I don't understand which is which.
I mean, in the other page they would show you, but I wouldn't worry about it. There's 1,000 of these devices that come in from China, and this is the you lost your presentation.
My goodness.
This is the one that looks like, because I have like a handful of these things, like $10 ones and $15 ones, but and I've got many Raspberry Pis. But anyway, I'm actually really excited about that because I've been wanting to play Super Mario World because I've never beat it, and that's going to be my goal, I think. Let's see.
There's a lot of these.
Yeah. Oh, there's like 100 manufacturers in China making weird little Game Boy-ish clones, and they've all sort of consolidated around a few chipsets. It's a really interesting space.
Yeah, this is cute.
Yeah, I ordered the wood grain one.
Is it the 300?
I ordered the wood grain one that was just on the screen, the vertical. I'm getting, there's the 351, I think, but they've got the vertical, the V is the one I ordered. It's got a bigger screen. That's going to be the one. I'm very excited.
Oh, it's so cheap.
You can actually get, if all you want to do is play like Super Nintendo, you can get like $20 Game Boys that like come from China with everything, like 1,000 games pre-installed. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, I know. I've been to
Yep. It's the fun. But I'm excited about
built-in Wi-Fi online sparring.
I don't know. So when you order yours, we can online spar.
Mm.
I did see though
high-quality horn speaker.
Oh yeah. They don't have the ability to make a Game Link cable work. So if you come over to my house and we want to play head-to-head Tetris, we can't use it over a Game Boy cable, which
What are you even doing?
I know. So Tiger King, Mr. Joe Exotic, his prison sentence has been vacated.
So he's free?
No, just his sentence was vacated. They're resentencing him.
Oh, they're resentencing him.
Yeah.
He had a 22-year sentence.
Break after trying to kill people.
Chances are he won't get as long since they threw out the old conviction. I did not read to see what the legal reason was, but generally speaking, you don't get the same or more once you've gone through this
after
process,
you get yourself Cosby'd out of your conviction.
Yeah.
Here we go. Because his murder for hire plot convictions weren't lumped together by the sentencing judge, his sentencing guidelines increased from 210 to 262 months to 362
Yeah.
to 327 months, which the appeals court said shouldn't have happened. So they're just going to ratchet it back to merely 10 years or 12 years, as opposed to, merely 18 years,
Yeah.
instead of 30 years.
I wonder how he's ever going to financially recover from this.
Yeah.
God, I
Yeah.
miss Tiger King.
I can't wait to see which reality show he goes on first after he's released.
Well, I'm sure one of the Kardashian children will be older at that point. So
They're going to bring back Flavor of Love just to have Joe Exotic on it.
Yeah, a dating show with him.
Yeah.
Huh?
oh
Yeah.
God. Oh,
With
God,
tiger cosplayers.
still probably a
Ooh,
better movie than the Star Trek movie they're talking about.
I'm going to dress up as Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin killed her. Huh.
Hey, Christabona, give me money.
Wait, what?
Carol Baskin.
Oh yeah, because she keeps emailing me. Again, I'm just on the mailing list because I went to it 10 years ago.
Because you gave her $100 once upon a time.
I'm not involved with any of the Tiger King drama. I just
Definitely
like cats,
doesn't have his own tiger pen in the
Servals.
backyard.
bobcats, big cat.
I heard that you needed to get a second dwelling just to keep your tiger.
Oh man, tigers are dangerous. They're not pets. People,
Right? All right, so the
I know
guys...
this has been covered before on the show, but don't go and get a big cat as a pet.
No, it's a horrible
It's a
thing to
bad
do.
idea.
So the guy who won the $28 million seat on the next Bezos launch...
He didn't win. He paid a lot of money.
Well, he
to
won
get
the
it.
auction, but he's not going. Instead, he gave the ticket to a kid. So now this flight will have the oldest and youngest person to ever go to kind of space.
An 18-year-old, right?
Well.
So not like a child, like a young adult.
Yes. Old enough to sign the papers that says I can't sue you without my dad to sign permission.
And to fight in a war.
Yeah. Old enough to be drafted, old enough to go to space.
Not old enough to drink in America, though.
No,
Right.
That's crazy talk. So yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that I would.
Yeah, it's next week. I'm all into watching us see it happen. I think this stuff is awesome. I also wish we would do something better.
Olivier. Okay.
Do you want to
I like space. Space is cool.
Yeah. Do you want to circle back to Loki, or do you want to?
Let's just get it over with.
All right.
Yeah.
Loki season finale confirmed that they get a second season.
Oh, good.
And they set up a whole bunch of stuff and didn't resolve anything. And
You know what I have to say about Loki?
What do you have to say?
So the show is supposedly, at least part of it, is about free will, right? The idea of free will,
right.
And whether or not there's one timeline or many. Predestination. I'll tell you who does not have free will. The writers of Loki, because this whole show is a setup for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yep.
The entire show is the longest commercial for those two upcoming movies.
Right.
The ending had almost nothing to do with any of the questions asked at the beginning of the show. It is merely a setup for those two upcoming projects.
It's not a very good setup, though. It's there wasn't even like a sneak, walk on by any of those other guys.
I mean, we got the introduction of the guy who's theoretically the Phase 4 Thanos.
Kang?
Yeah.
Or Immortus.
Not very.
And, the most laid back version of Kang the Conqueror I've ever seen anywhere.
I felt like the last episode had way too many really long, slow pull-in dolly shots where like an actor doesn't say anything for like 10 seconds.
But weren't you amazed?
No, turns out.
But weren't you amazed?
So I actually enjoyed the finale, but I wanted resolution, and I'll tell you what I'm the most disappointed about. And you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times. The CW shows don't work because they're machines that are designed to pedal forever.
Yeah.
Loki needed an ending. It needed a finale. It needed a conclusive end. It doesn't need a season 2. It needs a resolution. And leave me some breadcrumbs for Doctor Strange or for Spider-Man if you want. but give me some freaking resolution. I felt like at least WandaVision, like, yeah, she goes off in her sad thing, but her bubble is burst, like her kids are trapped, but like I felt like that was a self-contained story that had an ending. Sure, with a cliffhanger.
And was also a commercial for the Multiverse of Madness.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. But
I feel like it denied me an ending, and instead just said the ending is in these other two parts, and you're not going to get a true ending until whenever
honestly,
we do.
I was so bored by Loki. I was so bored by it the whole time. I didn't care. I mean, honestly, I remember watching the last one. I was sitting with my wife and kid, and I'm just like, this is like not a good Doctor Who episode. You know, this is just dull.
I think it's as good as a good Doctor Who episode, but I wanted it to be as good as like the best time travel movies.
Yeah, okay.
That's
it. It took an interesting character and it made it so incredibly boring for me. Like I just don't care. Yeah, that's a shame because I really like Tom Hiddleston. I think he did a great job as bad Loki, but this was not even Loki. This was just like some guy wandering through a bunch of sets.
Well, that's the core problem, right? The character is the god of mischief. He should be lying and cheating, but the problem is that he's your protagonist, which means you want to give him a story arc. And your story arc requires that you grow as a person, and that's not...
I would even be more okay if they leaned into that more. If you're going to have a story about the god of mischief finally having a reckoning and a change of heart to try to be a decent person once shown how horrible everything goes, that would be okay. But they don't really take that deep a dive in it. They're just like, nah, he kind of likes this variant of himself. That's sort of like being good, right?
They should make out.
Yeah.
Time for smoochies.
Well, and also, so you remember the ending of Deadpool, I think 2, where he goes through time and fixes everything?
Yeah.
It's like, that was more Loki and mischief than all of the Loki series.
It's true.
I mean, if Loki really had access to a time machine, I think the world would be different.
I think that's a really, really good point. I think that Loki, the stories that you get about Loki, like one time he turned you into a frog and he cut off people's hair, like all of this prankster stuff. If Loki had this kind of power, he would go around and mess around with people, which means he'd have fun. And it wasn't fun.
Even like the DB Cooper scene was just like, that's all you're gonna do with it,
right? Well, I wanted that to be like all of it.
Like they could have had like 2 episodes where it was just him going to various Nexus events and just having a blast, and I would have been like on board for that crowd.
Or something showing that all these mysteries throughout history are all him. That would have been great.
Right.
Yeah.
He made the pyramids.
Yep. I would have been all in on all of that. That's.
He stole the Hoover Dam. Like all the stuff you ascribe to Carmen Sandiego, he stole the Eiffel Tower, whatever it was. It's like that's Loki. That's fun.
That's the other thing is I want these shows to be fun. I want fun. Like these are comic book movies, and like Black Widow had a fun second act.
I didn't make it that far.
Oh, fair enough. All right. NASA has decided or determined that the moon wobble is going to get us some extra floods in another decade.
This is not a new wobble, by the way.
This is an ancient wobble.
This is a regular every 20 or 30 year wobble thing that leads to the La Nina and El Nino effects. So this is just them saying weather will continue.
Thanks, NASA. I didn't actually post it, but I did just read this morning that they rebooted the Hubble, and they got it up and running on like a backup, the backup system. It's apparently they were saying it was a problem in the power supply, and so they're running it now through the backup, and they're hoping to be back up and running soon. So it's a good thing that we'll have the Hubble up there just in case the James Webb somehow manages to miss its expected launch date again after 13 years of missing launch dates.
This is really interesting. The payload computer was finally recovered when we found the password for the Dropbox underneath Eric's keyboard. Oh,
It was on a Post-it note.
It was on a Post-it.
He forgot.
People come down on passwords on Post-its, but we wouldn't have the Hubble back if it wasn't for that.
It works. I think anybody who is responsible for managing IT for an elderly family member would really appreciate just having a Post-it note with all the passwords on to find.
Sometimes. Indeed.
Amazon acquired Facebook's satellite internet team, so I guess now it's going to be Amazon competing with SpaceX, and China has one too, right? Doesn't Russia have one too?
I'm sure Russia's pretended they had one, but it's not the Russia of all.
I can't wait.
Can't you?
Well, Rob's the one of us that's going to be first in line,
for sure.
Well, that's true. That's true. So I'm bragging a little bit here.
Tell us of your fiber.
No, my first cousin worked on at the wireless lab at Berkeley for the Facebook effort, right?
Okay.
And he worked on you know that the dish that Starlink uses with those millions of little antennas.
Yeah, the one that you weld to the hood of your car.
Yeah, that one. So he worked on the equivalent for the Facebook funded wireless thing, and he got his PhD. I went to the PhD defense. It was really cool.
That is neat.
So so I'm like, hey, maybe my first cousin will move to the Pacific Northwest and I can see him more. That'd be cool, right? So I was kind of excited about this.
Well, I hope it all works out for you and your first cousin.
Right? I mean, that's what this is about. It's not about
It's not about giving Rob internet.
I would love Rob to have internet.
I would love to have internet too.
Rob, I like it better when you have to buy your internet in 10 gigabyte at a time chunks from phone companies.
I buy it in 30 gig bytes. Thank you very much.
Ooh, fancy.
Gulp, gulp.
So Robert, have you considered pulling fiber to your house, or is it too expensive? Is it just not a thing? Like that guy, there was that guy north of you guys who did it too.
He was southwest of me, and that is 20 miles away from Rob. That's not going to help Rob. That'd be a lot of fiber.
Like, what are you thinking, man?
But you know that there is cable run like a quarter mile to the east of you.
So what I'm going to say you should do is take a look at the Biden infrastructure plan, actually download it, and see if there's a municipal broadband incentivization program that you, Mr. Roseboom, could qualify for if you just simply set up your own ISP and decided to become the rural broadband guy.
Rural broadband.
All completely on the back of the federal infrastructure program.
That sounds exactly what I should do.
I mean, it's probably the only way you're going to get reliable internet.
Well, it seems as likely as me going and renting a trencher and just going through my backyard, my neighbor's backyard, into the vineyard where there is internet.
Well, you could splice
so that's
that.
what you do. You go to the Venter and you say, yo, let's do an ISP together and qualify for the infrastructure rural broadband.
And the guy's like, I make wine.
Yeah, but here. Don't you want to make wine and money?
Stop stealing my grapes.
I just want to make wine, is what he'll say. And send me packing.
He's got email. He doesn't need more than that. All right. The hospital's the surgery robot story actually made me super angry because if it's true, the story in there was that they had like a surgery robot that turned off mid-surgery, and so they had to like immediately finish. Like, I've had a hard time, with DLC and like downloadable add-ons, and like I've had my beef with these subjects, but can you imagine surgery turning off and requiring you to like insert more quarters in order to finish your gallstone removal? Oh God.
Okay, so here's the thing. The Da Vinci surgical robot is enormous. Okay, you have to basically dedicate an entire operating room to surgical robotics. So why does this matter? Because there's actually not that many operating rooms in a given hospital. So you have to basically be able to make enough money from the kinds of surgeries that the intuitive robot does well to make it possible. And remember, the consumables for a given one, one surgery are usually between $10,000 and $12,000. All right, maybe more for more complicated surgeries. So where I'm going with this is, if you're going to make 50 grand doing a really complicated surgery, this robot has to be worth it, right? To both dedicate the OR and the consumables cost. And I'll be honest with you, if you look at the numbers, there are some surgeries where it's a good choice. Prostate, like removing nodules from your prostate, and some cardiovascular work, but it's not really clear that it's worth the consumables cost just for a smaller scar.
It feels like this whole project is more an investment in the future of the technology rather than the present.
Yeah, but hospitals can't afford that stuff. It's
$2.5 million for the machine. Why can't the machine just take 30% like an app store?
Luckily, they've let us name the robot here at our local hospital because we've given them so much business.
Surgery McSurgery face.
Wow. Oh, do they use an Intuitive on Kristen?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I know that almost all that laparoscopic surgery uses some sort of guided machine, It's got like 4 arms that lock you in place, have all the cameras, it's not like they just go in with a probe, but they actually have a device that does all that stuff for you now.
Well, the last thing that we had on the list is not legitimate news, but it is funny. Guys, I have to put in my application because McCormick is hiring a director of taco relations. I could get paid $100,000 to eat tacos.
As silly as this is, I love marketing campaigns like this that companies do. This is fantastic because it's going to get eyeballs, and one lucky person will be like, be able to add that to his LinkedIn profile. He was indeed the director of taco relations at one point in his life.
Right? Good for him. Are you passionate about tacos and the latest trends for taco social media? Well, I got to tell you, there's nobody alive who has more experience with taco-related social media than the commander of tacos.
Commander of all tacos.
To be perfectly honest with you, gentlemen, I'm on the bleeding edge of taco technology over here. So I can absolutely get paid $100,000 to stuff tacos in my face and fill out a questionnaire.
Here's the thing. I had tacos for dinner last night, and I screwed it up because we ran out of tortillas. So I'm not qualified for taco relations because I didn't have enough tortillas. I had enough everything else.
Yeah. It's only a 4-month gig for $100,000. I mean, that's not actually a bad pay.
No, that's really good.
Right.
All right.
So you can move on to like the Duke of Enchiladas.
Well, it looks like there's a career path. You have a chief noodle officer.
It'd be the Earl of Enchiladas, Rob.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Grand Duchy of Enchiladadom.
Sir Sandwich.
What other spices does McCormick specialize in?
All.
The Count of Cloves.
Oh.
The Pope of Peppercorns.
Yep. I know that you could get almost every spice in a tiny McCormick jar. I
think that we should have a follow-up story and see how this actually goes.
Because
you know what could happen? They could hire the wrong taco ambassador, and it could just go horribly wrong for the McCormick company, for tacos, and for America.
Or we could organize some sort of hashtag like conspiracy theory or something where we just spam them.
I mean, we're making light of this, but we have a whole day of the week dedicated to tacos. This is serious business.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I mean,
tacos are
enchiladas don't have a day.
No.
Tamales don't have Thursday.
They should.
Should they?
Tacos in my house are one of the few meals that I can actually get both of my children to eat without yelling at me. It's great.
Because tacos are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, sure, there's Meatless Monday, but there's a lot of room. There's a lot of foods in the whole kingdom of meatless.
Fish on Friday.
Well, that's just a Catholic thing. So.
But it alliterates, so it has to be factual.
Fish Fridays.
Yeah.
But Taco Tuesdays.
Taco
That's serious.
Tuesdays. That's real alliteration.
That's right.
It's now honestly, it's as important as July 4th.
in the American
American
hierarchy of holidays.
Of holidays. You got Pride Month, you got Black History Month, then you got Taco Tuesdays.
That's the order.
Oh, sorry. And then July 4th, and then Taco Tuesdays. Yeah.
Every 7 days, you get to celebrate freedom of taste.
Well, this is the thing. I thought Donald Trump was sunk when he basically was like, if you vote for Democrats, you're going to have a taco truck on every corner. And I'm like, that sounds
Sign
great.
me up.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't wait for that.
How did Hillary Clinton lose with a taco truck on every corner? You know?
She should have aligned herself with McCormick, who is well known for making the most delicious taco seasonings on the planet.
There's like that super liberal Penzies spice. They're known for their anti-Trump memos or whatever. So maybe McCormick is trying to be like the centrist spice company.
Centrist. So you got Chick-fil-A on the left or on the right. Chick-fil-A on the right. You got McCormick trying to take the center, and you got Ben and Jerry's on the left.
Yeah.
The political spectrum of junk food.
Well, it's funny because I think all of them are owned by Unilever.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, it's true. All right, that was the entire list. Do we have anything else we wanted to talk about? I feel like somebody had an important meeting that they had to go to, so we were hurrying.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is the highlighted taco on the article has, I think, mushrooms on it.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that too. But
yeah, is that normal? I mean,
no,
not in my house.
That's like a bolognese taco.
I'm gonna go ahead and say a big no to that.
I mean,
they have like this really unartful salsa fresca on top of it too.
I tell you, I cheat with my tacos. I just put a bunch of guac on most of them.
That's not cheating. That's taco making.
That's delicious.
Don't come down on your taco skills.
I'm the commander taco.
For nothing.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't.
It's not like you're lieutenant or staff sergeant.
Right. I didn't become commander by defeating all of the other tacos in the taco hierarchy. All right.
To talk about now.
Magnum, you're grounded.
No, that's awesome.
Hey, that's not your joke.
It's too cheesy for this. All right. Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See you. Bye.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
My name is Korg. I like a taco.
Okay, you broke me. I have to say my name. All right, I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. I'm very red and laughing on my screen. Thanks for watching Geeks in Space. Bye.